Okay, so I'm going to show you my method for doing this. The first thing we're going to do is I have a soldering iron. It's set at approximately 800. What's it set at? It's set just under 350 Celsius. Okay. Now, little painter's palette. Really, really handy thing to have. I know this seems kind of strange. I do not want to put this directly on, I don't want to put the plastic directly on the tip of the soldering iron. You can also do this with a match, or a lighter, and you'll get the same effects. So what I'm trying to do is heat up a nice warm surface, and then I just come in here. Let's see if you guys can see this. Let me switch hands. Sorry. I get the end of this nice and warm. We take this and we just make a nail head out of it. Okay, see how easy that was? It just came down and made a nice little nail head. Okay, I will show you that in a minute, but I want to get the other ones done. And if you notice, this is very, very long right now. There's a reason for that. Okay, oops, a little hot there. Okay. All right, see, that one was too hot. So I got to cut that off again and then start over. Where my knife went. That's okay. We can do it off of this one. Sometimes this should be hot enough, maybe still. Nope. We'll get that plastic off of there in a minute. So you want to kind of let it cool down between passes, apparently. You just need a little bit of it. This will be my fourth one because I already experimented with one. Okay. And that's all you need, just a little bit. Now comes the hard part. We're going to get this out of the way real quick. So let me show you what I did. The whole purpose of this was to be able to take this rod and this item and push it through this hole. And now you see the rod doesn't go all the way through. That's what we want. We want a nice little seal on the end of it. Now what we need to do, since this should be nice and glued up, that's nice and firm. Again, this is another reason why we didn't paint it first. It makes it a little bit better. You can see, again, we have a clearance problem of where I can get into this thing. Up. I have a little bit of paint that's in the way of one of my items. We're going to clear that paint out of that hole so that it fits in the hole. Oh, may not have a hole. Okay, I got to drill that hole out. Anyway, so what we are going to do, because it's a little bit more open on the top than it is on the bottom, we're going to take this rod and we are going to simply thread it through. You can see here the way that this works. These go down, this is up. We put the rod in here. Hopefully this is the one that's, yeah, this is the one that is empty. Put the rod in through the bottom, go up through the top. And you see here, it's nice and tight. Now, the next thing we got to do is do the same thing that we did on the bottom, but now we got to do it on the top. This makes it a little bit harder. Okay? Because basically what we're doing is we're putting this in place without gluing it so that it still can move. There's a couple of other ways to do this. Another way would be to get a tube that goes over top of this that's nice and small, and you cut it that way. But we're not going to do it that way. So the things that I needed to do is make sure that this is on there nice and tight, which it is. We're going to hold this up there. I'll make sure that you guys get, okay, so that's nice and tight in there. I need my cutting dikes, which I have right here. You can see why I made it so long. And now you can tell we only need a little bit. Now there's going to be a little bit of play, and there's another one that I broke. Okay. We'll put a little bit of play in there, but we need to have something. Now this is going to take two hands to make this work, because I'm going to have to hold this and then hold the pallet up against it. Okay, so let me heat my pallet up. Of course, whenever you do things like this, nothing ever wants to do what it's supposed to do. Actually, I'm going to do this side. Doesn't really matter. I'm only going to do one of these, and then I will do the rest. And this is the first one that I'm doing. So the other thing is you got to be really, really, really careful about where you place this, because if you don't place it right, you'll melt some of the other plastic that you don't want to melt. Okay, get that hot, bring that in there, and hopefully that's hot enough. So you see, it wants to move it, and that wasn't hot enough. Or the transfer made it such that it got too cold too quickly. All right, we're going to try this again. This is a semi-science. I might just put it on the other side so that I have more control over it, because that is the side that I'm heating right now. Again, I like using the pallet because it's flat. It also gives me a little bit more control. There's other ways that you could do it. You could heat up a knife blade. You could heat up a screwdriver. Okay, come on. There we go. A little bit more. And there. Okay. We're not going to go much more than that, but there you go. It has a little bit of wiggle to it. That's okay. Now I can come back and do it better at a straight angle. We'll do it one more time at a straight angle now that everything is in. I think you guys can see this. It might just be a little. Again, ideally, it would be better to get the exact right fitting rod, but sometimes you have to do what you can do with what you've got. I could have drilled the holes up, but that could have also caused damage or oversizing the holes, so I decided to make a smaller rod. Okay, just a couple of more seconds. Push that down. Come on, guys. A little bit more. One of my problems is that my soldering iron doesn't want to stay in place. And again, you lose a lot of heat transfer, believe it or not, from the distance that you have to go. Again, I'd love to do it directly with the soldering iron, but that's not going to happen. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other three, and I will get back to you. Okay, we're going to try it a little bit different this time. You can see here I've drilled out the hole, and I'm going to use some tape instead. So we'll cut this down, use some tape, and see how we can get this done. So much fun. It's not that this is hard or that this is difficult to do. It's just how you got to do it and the quickness that you have to do to get it. This one's going to be one of the hardest ones, because you can see here I am right next to one of the air tanks. So we get rid of that. I've moved my soldering iron a little bit closer. My cat wants to come in at a very, very unopportune time, because that's when cats like to come in and play, right? Hopefully he's not going to do anything stupid. He'll just come in and look in the room. So I got to try to do this kind of fast while I'm doing it. So let's see. Hopefully the tape will help me because it's a little hard using 3 or 4 hands to do everything. So let's get over here, plus get this on the video. Okay. See, the big thing is you want to make sure you don't glue it, right? You want to make sure that that swings. So that's a much better way to do it. Put a piece of tape down on the bottom of it. I'm going to get this other tough one done, and then I will come back and show you what my next steps are. Okay. I didn't think you guys wanted to see that. See what I had to do. All of that is finished and on there. And now I just want to put a little bit of matte varnish on here. You guys have seen that the paint likes to come off of here fairly good. So I'm going to put on some matte varnish. All right, so neither of the matte varnishes worked, so I wound up just spraying it with Tamiya Clear Coat. Now comes all the fun. We have to start detailing the colors. So we start off with the flat black because that's the darkest, and we can always cover it back up again if we need to. Black was also the larger portion of the colors that needed to be done. So that's where we started with. All right, so here's the first coloring that we got to do. Now we've got some more that I've got to do. So I've got to go through and do the touch-up, and then we get to put some aluminum. So the aluminum will go here on all of those walkways that are not black. And then after that, we get to do steel. Yeah, lots more coloring to put on there. And then we also have to come over here and do all these tracks too. So a little bit more painting to do. So I'm going to go ahead and try to set it up and do some more paints. So we'll be back. All right now, so I did a little touch up on the yellow, and I also put in some tape because those top things have to be black. So we're going to go paint up some of the rest of the black, and then we're going to go ahead and get the aluminum in there. I also got to try to paint this all up, so that'll be all kinds of fun, but that needs to dry so I can get some aluminum on there too. So let's go ahead and go back to fast forward and see what we do. Okay, so you can see here we've got some touch-up I got to do yet, but that is our aluminum that goes on there. I think it came out pretty cool. Still got to do a little work on the dashboard, but we'll get that all fixed up. But otherwise, that's the aluminum. There's some black to touch up. I'm sure there's going to be some more yellow to touch up. So the next thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to go down here and get some steel done. Okay, let's peel off this tape. I'm not going to show all that. I just wanted to kind of give it a break to see what this looked like. So there you have it. All right, I hope you guys can hear me. It's a bit rainy out there. So I decided to use the Mission Models cold rolled steel to paint up the treads on these. These look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. I think they're just going to go like that. Sorry I didn't video it. I was a little bit busy and wanted to get those done. So now my next problem is getting a color that will work on this interior section here. Okay, nice thing is this paint's drying pretty quickly on most of the stuff that I'm doing, so that's kind of nice. So the parts that I want to paint up are this roller, the bottom of this, and some of the sides, that roller as well, and some of the bottoms of those. I have some steel, which, oh, that's going to look pretty nice. All right, so I'm going to put you guys on fast forward again, and we'll be back. Okay, so there we go. That is the bottom of the machine painted. We've got the top of the machine painted. I'm sure there's going to be some touch-up that I got to do. We'll do a little bit better of a presentation when it's done. And then I got all those guys done. So soon, this project will be complete. Okay, let's go on to the next steps then. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. We're going to stop right here and we'll do the finishing steps in the next and final video and then do the final reveal. Everybody, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and like, and we will see you again soon.